I like it. You're my hero. Cryptocurrency exchanges play a vital role in shaping the investment environment for private investors. In our next panel, industry leaders will discuss how exchanges are adapting to market shifts, such as regulatory pressures, the integration of NFTs, and the rise of tokenized assets to support retail traders. But before we begin, I'd like to say a few words about the sponsor of this session. BestChange.com, established in 2007, is a platform that enables users to quickly find vetted e-currency, crypto, and cash exchangers with the best rates. It collects user feedback on these services, giving an opportunity to make an informed decision. BestChange.com knows where to exchange. And without further ado, I'd like to invite onto the stage the managing director of KuCoin, Alicia Cao, the head of institutional trading, I imagine, but we'll find out, at HTX, Charmaine Lim, COO at BitGate, Vugar Usizadeh, CEO of Gate UAE, Edwin Chung, head of investment at BingX Labs, EtherC, and the moderator, who I just met backstage. She's awesome. Vice President of Listing.help, Margarita Grazinskaya. Please give a big round of applause. Please give a big round of applause. High energy, fantastic. Our wonderful panel.
Okay, I think we're ready to start. My name is Margarita. I'm a vice president at Listing Help and also the organizer of this forum. This is actually the third time I've had the pleasure of moderating a panel discussion like this. But previously in our talks, we were speaking more about trends in general. I think Charmaine or Vugar might remember that. And today we're gonna dive a little bit deeper into another topic, which is how trends shaping investment strategies and adapting to crypto market trends. We have a very packed agenda today, only 27 minutes left, so I'll start right off with my first question. In your opinion, what are the key factors shaping the investment strategies of private investors? And how are you guys, centralized platforms, are helping investors to adapt to these strategies? Whenever is ready.
Can I? So we have, I have been working with our KA team and also our user growth team. So we talk to a lot of different kinds of investors, like institutional investors and also the private investor as well. But we can see that even for the private investor, the macroeconomics also impact their strategy to trade. So we can see the inflations and the rise of the interest rate will also impact the cash flow. So that makes the private investors be more cautious. So they're no longer only seeking for big returns from their crypto portfolios. They're also looking for some scalable returns, like staking or just earn product. So I mean, the key that we could do is to provide more diversifying products and assets to allow our users to manage the risk. So we provide earn product with the stable returns, and we also provide some AI tools to help our users to manage their portfolio real time, even in the extreme volatility in the market. And we also provide staking with the decentralized protocols. And I mean, in this kind of current market, to manage the risk will be the key fact. That will be the key that will impact their trading strategy.
Yeah,
Thank
hi.
you, Aisha.
Well, I think some of the trends or factors that we see that has been ongoing over the last few years across the rise and fall of the cryptocurrency market is that builders continue to build, right? Blockchain technologies are still evolving. So I think this is one of a key factor that even private investors are recognizing that there is an actual utility behind all these blockchains that has been developed. So, I mean, recently there's been quite a hype, right, on Solana-based meme coins. And they kind of cater to more of community-based sort of investors. And BRC20 has been there, and developments in Depends, for example, and also RWA. So I think a lot of these factors are driving interest in the private investment front. Because traditionally, they tend to invest in safer assets. I think if you look across the trillions of dollars that's in the market right now, highest asset invested in is still real estate, right? Yeah, but you know, crypto is still at its infancy. It's only about over $1 trillion. Used to peak at 3 trillion. So I think there's still a lot of room to grow and room for private investors to explore. They become a little bit more knowledgeable, I think, of the space and you know, the sort of volatility they'll be facing. A lot of them who are investing early gain some knowledge of how to manage their risk better in crypto investments. So I think in general, a lot of technology innovations are still driving this forward for private investors.
I believe there are like trend setters and trend followers. Unfortunately, most people in the industry, they follow the trend, especially this bull market and bear cycles. But as a CEO of BitGet, I know that we don't do that. In the middle of the bear market, we went and invested in 30 million to decentralized wallets. Today, BitGet wallet is most downloaded, one of the largest wallets. And then all our competitors start doing that while people thought that investing 30 million in a bear market wasn't a good idea. Recently, we invested another 30 million to Tron Foundation. We invested several multi-millions to the layer 2. Therefore, I believe investment strategies should be long-term rather than thinking what bear market brings, bull market brings. And unfortunately, in a VC side, we see that VCs also try to invest in a very shorter cycles. In Web 2, VCs will not invest to exit in 8 months or a year, but unfortunately in crypto market, all VCs try to do even that short-term deals in order to be able to exit within the same cycle. Therefore, I believe if we want the industry to grow, we shouldn't be following short-term trends instead of focusing on a long-term vision. And that also applies for the retail investor. We see that, for example, even in a Bitcoin, almost 80-90% all investors are always on a profit. But people who think in a very short term and they enter and exit in this short-term volatility, they get impacted more and they lose money. Therefore, I believe overall the mindset should shift that we shouldn't be focusing on a short-term trends, whether we are a retail investor, private investor, or institutional investor, and think into like a long-term vision, what can happen in 3 to 5 years rather than into 3 to 4 months. And that will be easier way to not be impacted by the trend and volatility instead of focusing on long-term gain and investment profits.
Yeah, so there are actually, 15,000 tokens that got listed every day. So, investors who wanted to look into projects, how to invest, I would always encourage them, to look at the longer term, basically, look at whether there's any business use case, business application, and how quickly the project can tap into the market that they pitched you for. Because, I can give you a recent example about Gate. So we have recently invested 10 million in the Tron ecosystem. Basically, what we wanted to see is that, in the Tron ecosystem, we see a very massive users that Telegram can quickly adopt, but also in the meantime we actually see a lack of developers and actually a lack of ecosystem that or actually the ecosystem has yet to be built. So this is why as Gate.io we wanted to work with the developers, work with the ecosystem market, the participants in order to boost the ecosystem, more projects coming out, and let investors have the ability to choose the grade A projects that they could be. So yeah, I mean, rule of thumb, just to summarize, is the business use case. The actually, whether the management team is strong enough, and also about how quickly the project can capture the market shares.
Cool. And if dividing this category into two topics, when we are talking about trading strategies in the secondary market, I think the best thing observation is for market volatility. And we all noticed that since this year, the whole market volatility is kind of low. And in such market, we should focus on like how to make better arbitraging in trading strategies rather than like seeking great alpha. But as my job as the investment for primary market, like we look for two things. The first is the technology innovation format, the shifting. Like through this year in crypto world, we see that all the attacks are just shifting from just layer 1 to more, layer 2, the DA layer, and some other, I think, a yield protocol layer, and to more application ones. And this, we have to capture the trend, what the market trend is really in, and what the hot money and what people interested in, like who are solving the user's pain point. And another thing is quite similar. We look through the massive user adoption. And that's why we also invest in the town ecosystem. We are interested in the GameFi. And also sometimes the other way, tokenization and yield protocols. And that's what we think can make the crypto world more seamless, give users the most simple way to access and to get their assets and earn their yield.
Okay, thank you guys. I really loved your ideas that builders keep building, that the investments should be rather long-term, not for 3-5 months, that you need to expand your team. That actually reminded me of a Chinese word, in one of the Chinese word crises, there's a key that's can be translated as opportunity. So in every bullish market, there's always opportunities, and that what reminded me what you said. And okay, let's shift gears to another crucial topic for our investors, which is security and compliance. I know that this is a tricky question, especially for centralized platforms. I want to say to you that you don't have to disclose any sensitive information that can put your platforms in danger. Just you can speak in general terms. How are you guys enhancing transparency and security measures to attract more private investors and protect them from hacks or losses? Who can answer that?
I can go ahead, I guess, because we always take a huge pride as a BitGet on transparency. We were one of the first centralized exchange who start publishing proof of reserves. Basically, every month or two, we will put out a report to make sure that all our customer funds are visibly available and everyone can check where they are. We never touch them. And we also have a promise that whenever this report comes out, we have more than 1.5 times or 150% of customer funds available. Basically, if all our customers decide to take all funds today, we will still have around 50% more liquidity within the exchange, which makes us a reliable partner for both investors and also listing partners. Secondly, we have our customer protection fund. It is the second largest, and it's available on Bitcoins only, 6,500 Bitcoins. Everyone can go and again check them on available wallets. And whenever something goes wrong, recently there was a scam case with the listing partners that we jumped in and we refunded them. And all these cases we are able to facilitate with this user fund, make sure that our users never get any sort of a suffering. While transparency is really important is also security. And with all these AIs and deepfakes coming, we are trying to partner with several large AML and KYC partners to make sure that we don't get scrutinized. And we recently partnered with Samsap. They're one of the largest providers of AI deepfake detection. And I think we are again one of the only largest exchanges that never got suffered any sort of the AI-related scam so far. And we put in place the many risk adverse mechanisms to make sure that Also, team members within the company can't do much. And 2 months ago, we invested around $5 million in education during the anti-scam month, where we tried to educate all our 45 million users to make sure that they make decisions to prevent any sort of phishing or scam acts that they can end up being victim with. And definitely when it comes to compliance, I think next 2 years will be most importantly and widely discussed topic is the compliance. Everyone tries to take as many licenses as possible, partner with already licensed local exchanges in order to speed this process. And I think, and I always say this, what we will need next 2-3 years, more and more lawyers and legislators who understand crypto, learn about crypto, and therefore as BitGet we decided to next 5 years invest $10 million in blockchain for use project, where we will be educating next generation of professionals to understand about crypto. Because if people don't know how blockchain works and crypto works, it's very hard, whether you are an HR, accountant, or a lawyer, to make a decision.
I guess to look into this question about how we, as an exchange, can help investors or clients to, make sure their monies are safe. There are two aspects. Actually, one is to basically look at precautionary measures, and the second part is that how invulnerable as an exchange are. So to go start first with the first part of precautionary, I would actually from experience, it's actually most of the time is the users who are mistakenly, maybe they have a weak password without 2FA, or even there are some hacks about in their accounts, or malicious links that they click into. So all these adding up, I think what we can do as an exchange is that we will provide a lot of strict security controls to actually help clients to have less impact on that. But more importantly, is about we give the user education about how they should be able to protect their accounts in order not to be attacked. So what we do, apart from go out online to have those training materials, promotion videos, what we also do, like recently, we also have a lot of offline events to do the education, and also we even have an introductory book that states about the blockchain industries. We have some interesting comics in it, which is recently published. So all these adding up, we just want to engage with the market, the community, and the users who wanted to know more about the blockchain and also to protect their account. And the second part, I just want to quickly go through, like you have mentioned about the proof of reserve. I'm sure a lot of exchanges are trying to be more transparent. Same as Gate.io, we have been more than 100% of the proof of reserve audited once to make sure clients' funds are safe. That's the utmost important measure that we would take. And the second part is the safety funds. This is just additional measures, additional comfort for clients that got hacked or got some issues. These are the funds that help them make them sleep well at night. So I mean, these are steps that we take from precautionary to whenever there are issues, how we can help actively.
Okay. So I got one thing to say. So now we are fully comply with KYC and AML regulations. But these are not only about the requests from regulators. It's about to protect our users and to build the trust and confidence of all of our users in this industry. So.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think security should be definitely the top priority. And as a user, I'm glad and confident, and I feel like very safe when you say those words to me. Sort of, Edwin, you sort of like touch-based what I was going to ask you guys next about some of the pitfalls investors might face when they're doing their investments. So maybe other guys can add, do you know what are some of the other most common mistakes or misconceptions private investors make, and how are you guys, centralized platform, can help them to deal with that? So Edwin mentioned lack of education, right, and the risk management. I was wondering if it is possible to maybe somehow in the future to develop AI tool that would be sort of like personal advisor for the users. Do you think that might be something can be integrated on, let's say, KuCoin, HTX, or BitGet, BigX in the future or not?
When it comes to BitGet, we already have our bots. Basically, it can eliminate all the human error that can cause. Therefore, I know that a lot of people shifted to Bitgrid trading. Another important aspect that we are known for as a #1 copy trading platform, especially if you don't know how to make your own research, or you don't have time, or you're limited with the time, you can just go and copy profitable trades of other famous traders. We have around 160,000 copy traders who can help you to do that. This is like two important aspects, but when it comes to AI, definitely there is an opportunity in there. But problem with AI is that AI is, especially generative AI, is known for observing the same patterns, and if everyone follows the same trend, or if everyone puts the same buy order, then it means that it won't be as profitable. Therefore, there is a huge way to be creative, and I think that trading will be still one of the opportunities where AI, like human, can still beat the AI in that area with the creativity and the decision making and long-term understanding. What AI can still help people to make a knowledgeable decision. For example, AI is known, you can, I don't know, make a query for AI to put together all the news from the Twitter in last 24 hours that as a humans we are not able to go to read so many tweets, but then AI can give us what is the main trend, or AI can tell what is the most, like, I don't know, orders submitted or orders placed in exchanges on ecosystem. Therefore, I think AI is good as a helper rather than fully making that decision. But still, if we want to eliminate the human error, definitely using bots and AI is a great tool there.
So there's both pros and cons. Okay, I see. All right. So managing risk is crucial, but also equally crucial is managing liquidity. And you guys are probably one of the biggest liquidity providers in the market. So how do you manage liquidity for both large and small investors?
Well, I think they would probably, be tapping into the same liquidity if they are active traders, right? And what we do at HTX is we have really welcoming programs for market makers to onboard to our exchange to provide the liquidity that is, required and also demanded by the market. So I think for a lot of the bigger players, the market makers especially, they probably know all the top exchanges by now, trade across all of them, and I would say that they are actually the key for liquidity across the exchanges more so than us, because we get them on board, we get them to trade, and we provide the liquidity so that the retail investors then would also enjoy less of a price slippage and any risk associated with price fluctuations as well. But of course, in the crypto space, just like with any other trading platforms, even traditional trading platforms, you definitely will get spikes, right? And sharp drops. And these are something which investors need to watch out for, especially if they are trading. Well, I would say that we provide liquidity in the sense that there are other products available, right, which are safer for especially newbies to look into, where we provide a yearly APY for you to invest in some of the more stables or more some of the top majors. We call them major tokens. So that I think at the end of the day, liquidity is out there in the market across all exchanges. I think the question is, how do private investors then come in and decipher for themselves what sort of risk they want to take and what sort of assets they would like to invest in and how they would like to invest in these currencies. So trading is always a very risky activity. So I would say that if you have lots of funds and you want to kind of optimize the revenue from there, go to someone that is professional, right? So have someone actually manage your funds as well. So I think that's probably what we can do as an exchange. We, like I said, education is there. We provide a lot of blogs, information, news related to certain assets. Many of the assets have also, published white papers. Who their teams are. So I would say that the due diligence on private investors are also very important. Despite like having all that liquidity in place, it is not something that, it's still something that you should be cautious about and understand your own limits for risk appetite.
All right.
And also to sum it up, I think the partnership with market makers, I think this is a priority, right? We should just work with all the top ones. And I think two things add up in BigNext. One is for the mechanism, but I think like all our exchanges are working on it. We got our the guaranteed price protection mechanism, and we have also a due system to control all these things and less slippage. And also another thing, may just disappear from the eyes of some people, is the selection of assets, because the assets we select, we wish it to be user demanded, with a lot of trader backed, and also with large market tension. And with such assets selection, it will originally attract a lot of liquidity and with depth. And with such assets we choice and listed, and it will just help user organically facing less slippage and have large liquidity.
All right. I think we just have a couple of minutes left, not enough time to discuss our next question, but maybe you can give some short advice to the newbies, because there's still a lot of people are just joining in the crypto. So crypto adoption is still at very early stage. What advice would you give to a newbie? We can just go one by one, starting with Alicia.
Okay, so I don't think I'm a very good investor, but I do know many of excellent private investors. So when they talking about what they're looking for to invest their assets, they're always looking for some assets that will reward the patience. So sometimes we could see some of the projects, they're doing pretty well, but it's not bring the price up, or also the increase the market cap with their work, pretty good work. But sometimes just about timing and also about the regulations, if it's mature, and also the infrastructures. So when the times come, if you are patient enough and you pick the right assets to get invest, then I'm sure that you will get pretty good reward of that.
Patience, that's a good advice.
Yeah, I'm not an asset manager. I think the best advice is for private investors to go to very sound asset managers who had been in the trade for some time to seek that advice. However, I do feel that a lot of the newbies sort of fall prey to the quick gains, right? The hope of having this crypto rise a few thousand% just because you're an early investor. So I think newbies especially would have to tread very carefully on this ground, especially when you are assessing some new assets that has not even been listed on the exchange. So that's my only advice. Don't fall prey to scams, and always be diligent in assessing projects or investment before you move ahead with them.
A great point. I always say while trading is a key topic in our industry, but it's not the only topic, and especially if you're newbie, don't rush to go and trade or do that put $100 become a millionaire story. Probably it won't happen, but always explore what is other opportunities. And I think one of the great opportunities is staking and farming. If you have an asset, don't let them lie around. Try to do something with them. For example, for newbies at BitGet, we have a launch pool and pool X where you can even lock your USDTs to earn new project tokens, a great way to explore new project without actually risking or buying the tokens. Another important aspect is pre-market. Definitely go explore pre-market. BitGet offers, and almost all our competitive exchanges do offer you an opportunity to invest in pre-market projects that already passed the exchange due diligence, because with your own capacity or hearing from friends and family, you might not be able to always get the best research project, but exchanges do due diligence. Therefore, exploring the opportunities that is beyond trading, and I think it's a great way to start first and then decide what you want to do next.
Okay.
Yeah, so my legal would tell me not to give any advice, but I'm just giving a general comment. Would say that actually do not be too formal, fear of missing out, because I have been seeing this year a lot of few thousand X, 100X, that these kind of coins, people, retail, newbies trying to come in. In the long run, that might be a difficult or challenge to them. So what I've suggest is going back to my earlier statement. I was saying that look at the business use case, especially whether there's tied to the traditional market. Look at the new stuff about RWA tokenization. These things. Something I like is that there's some fundamental values, fundamental use case that would actually help in the long run or in more sustainable way. So there's two parts. If you're looking for a day trade, more than a short-term gain, a lot of coins would be a great to look at. But in a longer run, more sustainable way, business fundamental, macro, and also look at the macro environment, which earlier speakers was mentioning. These are the tips or rule of thumbs where new users or new crypto players coming in should bear in mind.
Okay, so in person, in short, will be know your own risk appetite and do your own research. And for explanation is, I think most people, especially newbies, they are managing with like wrongly expectation to the market. You cannot say if I can only accept with 10, drawdown and 10% drawdown, and I wish over maybe 2x, 3x, in return. That's unrealistic. Everybody will rush in that project. So this is the first one. And the second thing for do your own research is have to know the market, emotion, know the market players, like institution, what are they doing, what the funds are in or out, and what you are going to do. Are you going to follow it up, or are you going to do vice versa, and why you are going to do it, and how you're going to take the risk. This is the key, I think, to at least to do not lose a lot of money. Because in person, I like meme coins. I like it pretty much. It's quite like my job, do the primary, investment. But, that's with a lot of, risky stuff. We have to bear, for losing all the money.
Exactly. All right, we run out of time. Thank you guys for this amazing panel discussion. And I want to thank our audience for being here. I guess we'll see you around next time.
Thank you.